Hello, it is Artemy again. You can also call me Art, and you can find me at CUArtist pretty much everywhere. So, continuing off of yesterday's video of getting ideas for comic making, this is going to be more if you are at a fresh start of a comic. What I usually end up doing is creating characters first. I guess a general concept, and then the characters to fit that. And I will give some examples of comics I either have on the back burner or for future plans, or ones I thought I might do and then I kind of just abandoned. The first of these ideas that I was working on, I was doing a urban fantasy themed Inktober. So a lot of the prompts were kind of character based. As the month went on, I created a lot of characters in this urban fantasy setting. I think I mentioned in, maybe the first video that I've been thinking about making comic YouTube videos for a bit, so I definitely was thinking about kind of going through the process of creating a comic with these characters that I made from Inktober, so I could give more solid examples of specific things as I was going along, but I never really got along to that, so because of all of these weird characters I had created, I did come up with kind of a story. I thought it would be fun to do music as magic and just playing around with that and have a battle of the bands sort of situation. And that was really all I had for the idea of that, and it was pretty loose to start with. In 2018, I considered joining the Webtoon short story contest because I wanted to, one, practice doing the vertical scrolling format, and I also wanted to get practice doing a smaller webcomic before the bigger one. And I also figured that doing it as just the vertical scrolling would go a lot faster. And it did, but I kept kind of getting stuck. It had also been such a long time since I had designed a character or thought of any story, at least by myself. I've done a couple projects with my partner, so I really was completely lost because I had just been doing Faragon for so long, I had forgotten the steps to make a story at all. So I definitely needed the practice, and even though I never finished it, I do think it was worthwhile. I was like, what would be just like a fun, short little comic to draw? And I was like, oh, what if I draw some lesbians falling in love, and also one of them has a dog because I need to learn how to draw dogs. So I made some students at an art school and just had fun with the designing of them. And by kind of slowly gathering some funny things together, I created a general plot to go off of. The most recent story idea I've come up with is just, I really thought it would be fun to do a group of people set in the 1920s. There's probably going to be a speakeasy, but there's also, paranormal investigator stuff going on, and maybe one of them is clairvoyant. So that one's definitely pretty underdeveloped, but it is the one I'm most excited about currently. So it really can be more of a conceptual thing, like 1920s ghost hunters, and then filling out characters more, just kind of spitballing ideas about what would be the most fun. So once you have, a concept and characters, I mean, honestly, you can do any of this kind of at any point. But another thing I have done before is kind of creating a mood board of vibe that would be cool to explore for a story. If there's a song that you hear and you are like, ooh, this is making me think about things, make a list of any time you think of a cool story idea and just keep that list going. Something I did in the early stages of writing the Faragon script is I found just a list of literary themes, and I went through and just highlighted all of the ones I thought would be interesting to explore in the comic. And also, made comments on, why I think that might be a good idea to do, and maybe if this one might be less fun to explore. Another fun thing you could do to kind of get just any kind of idea is go to tvtropes.com. They have just a ton of tropes, and you could either kind of explore one that you think is fun, or kind of try and flip the script of it and make it interesting in a way that you find fun to do. The biggest thing is go with an idea that you think is fun. just realized that there are seagulls being really loud outside my car, so if you hear those, I am so sorry. Yeah, I would honestly say the biggest thing is just keep a list of anything that inspires you to write a story and play with that. I have so many posts just saved on my computer of people talking about writing and things that they thought would be a fun twist on literature, and then I was like, ooh, I could play with that. But after I get the general idea, then I usually work on the characters and then figure out what they would be doing. Looking at 3-act structure is definitely really helpful, trying to figure out the story arcs of everybody. Or if you're looking for more of a weekly storytelling thing where there's specific story arcs, I mean, that you would still probably want an act structure within those, but yeah, those can definitely be helpful to kind of structure where you're going. But I always find character design is one of the really great things that gets me into a story. So there's just so much you can get out of what the character looks like that can really give you a lot of inspiration on where to go. And that is kind of how I start writing a story and how I get the ideas for it. Consuming the world around you and making note of what inspires you. That is all I have for today. Thank you for listening. I hope to see you tomorrow.